back to Ginger Grenade Aquatics. Want to do a quick video on how to check your water parameters for a freshwater fish tank. I like to use the API Freshwater Master Test Kit. So basically you get these 4 glass tubes. You're going to fill them up with your tank water in there. Maybe just fill it up to this line right here. It's already marked on there. We're going to test all 4 things today, but usually whenever I'm doing a water change, after your tank's already cycled, everything's going nice and smooth. The only thing that I'm really checking is my nitrates. I don't check all 4, I just check the 1. But for today's video, we'll go ahead and check all 4. So we'll go ahead and open this up. On the back of this packet, it's got your ranges. So we'll test the ammonia first. Ammonia has 2 bottles. So in the first bottle, you're going to add 8 drops. The second bottle, you're going to add 8 drops. So just give them a quick little shake. Grab one of your test tubes right here and just pop in 8 drops. Go ahead and open up this second one right here, pop in the second 8 drops. Grab the lids. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go ahead and you're going to pop your lid on, give it a good shake for about 5 or 10 seconds, and then set it off to the side. You want to let it sit for about 3 to 5 minutes. The original color that it starts out as, that's not what it's going to end off being, and you want to make sure you get an accurate reading. So the next thing that we'll test, we'll go ahead and test our pH. We don't need to test the high range pH. Your high range pH is unless there's something really wrong with your tank or you have salt water. So we're just going to use the regular pH test solution. This bottle says to add 3 drops. Got our 3 drops in there. You can do the same thing. Give it a shake for a couple of seconds. We'll set it off to the side. Next thing we're going to test is our nitrites. This one we need to add 5 drops. Shake it up. Set it off to the side. Last one will be our nitrates. This is the one that I test every time whenever I'm doing a water change. It also has 2 bottles. So bottle number 1 is 10 drops. Bottle number 2 is also 10 drops. And just remember on the bottles right here, it's labeled what bottle number it is and how many drops that you should add, and it tells you what you're testing up at the top. Nice and simple. Close this one up. Give it a couple of shakes. And we'll come back to you here in a couple of minutes after they've had time to sit. Alright, we waited about 5 minutes to let the color develop in the test tubes. The first thing that we tested was the ammonia. So if you look over here, our ammonia was real close to 0 parts per million. You could argue that it's between 0 and 0.25 parts per million, which is great. Second thing that we tested was our pH level. If you look over here, our pH seems to be between 6 and 6.4. For the type of fish that we're keeping, which is 4 Oscars and a silver arowana, this pH range is great for us. Most freshwater aquariums need to be in between 5.5 and 7.5 on the pH scale. Your saltwater aquariums tend to be like 8.0 and a lot higher up in that range. But for the type of fish we're keeping, this is great. If you're unsure what your pH levels should be, just type it in on Google and the type of fish that you have, and it'll tell you what your pH range should be for those type of fish. Next thing that we tested were our nitrite levels. So our nitrites seem to be in between 0 and 0.25, a little bit closer to 0.25 parts per million, which is great. We did do a feeding shortly before this video, so it's expected for us to have a little bit of ammonia and nitrites. You do want these to be as close to 0 as possible. If these are not close to 0 or at 0, you do not have enough beneficial bacteria in your aquarium to eat it. And the way that the nitrogen cycle works is your fish eat food, it poops it out, it turns into ammonia, it gets ate by bacteria, it turns into nitrates, gets ate by bacteria. Ammonia and nitrites are very harmful for your fish, so you don't want them to be very high levels in your tank, or it's not good for your fish. We do have another video posted on the nitrogen cycle. If you have any questions about that, just go and check that out. It's got a real simplified version of the nitrogen cycle to help you understand for new fish keepers into the hobby. The next thing that we tested was our nitrate levels. So our nitrates look to be in between 5 and 10 parts per million. So we're still in the okay range of the nitrates. Nitrates are not very harmful for your fish. In high amounts, they can be harmful for your fish. This is why we do nitrates. Either you do a water change and it helps get rid of nitrates, or you have to have live plants, and live plants will eat the nitrates as food and get rid of them as well. We don't have any live plants, so what we do is we do a lot of water changes to make sure that we keep our nitrates in range. By in range, I mean they need to be below 20 parts per million. So once we get to that 20 parts per million range, we go ahead and it's time for a water change. So I check that every time I do a water change to see how much of a water change I need to do. But I hope this helped out. Thanks for watching. If you do subscribe, just comment down at the bottom that I subscribed, and I'll go ahead and I'll subscribe to your channel. Right now our goal is to hit 100 subscribers, so we hope that you can help us reach that goal. Thank you.